Just 3 days after Ohio's 6-week abortion ban went into effect, an Indiana OBGYN got a wrenching call. A 10-year-old girl in Ohio had been raped. She was 6 weeks and 3 days pregnant. For helping that girl, Dr. Caitlin Bernard was hounded by right-wing media. She was investigated, her employer sued by the Republican Attorney General of Indiana. That suit was finally dropped just this week. And Dr. Caitlin Bernard joins me now. Doctor, thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
I know that you were not a party to the suit that was finally dropped this week. It was against IU Healthcare. But given that that appears to be the final chapter in this kind of crusade to punish you or your employer, how do you feel about that seeming to come to a close?
What I can say is that it speaks for itself that a federal judge dismissed the case on its merits, and I appreciate IU Health for always supporting me. Most importantly, I'm happy to be able to take care of my patients. That's what I have always wanted, and that's what I uphold every day. But I think it's very concerning, and people should really be worried about a political climate in which physicians are being harassed and intimidated for providing safe access to health care for some of our most vulnerable people.
Yeah, there was something, I think that there's an understandable impulse to not want to believe that there's a 10-year-old girl who is pregnant because of sexual assault. I think I understand that impulse viscerally. But to me, it revealed something about the world that the anti-abortion right has wrought, because this does happen. And I wonder what you think about it now, 2 years into this.
I think it is unfortunate that we are seeing what the consequences are every single day. We experience that as physicians, and now, unfortunately, it's laid bare for the rest of the country to see as well. The stories are coming out every single day, and unfortunately, they're really just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many other people, survivors of sexual assault and incredibly traumatic situations of pregnancy that nobody can imagine until you're in it. And now we see what happens when abortion bans are the law of the land for so many places.
That point, I think, I just want to stay with for a moment, because ultimately you were fined and reprimanded for talking to the press about it. But the point about the tip of the iceberg, there are occasional stories, in this country of 330 million people, with 160 million women and girls, or 165 million, of truly horrific incidents. A 10-year-old who's pregnant, being forced to, get to the point of bleeding in a parking lot before you get medical care, things like that. To me, the crusade here was about punishing you for the story becoming public, precisely because it is so intimate, these details, that we're not hearing the vast majority of the worst stories because it is so painful to come forward.
That's exactly right. And I think part of the campaign, part of what upholds abortion bans is a silence. And that is exactly what they're trying to do, not just to me, but also to other physicians and even people who are in need of that care, are seeking abortions. And until we are able to speak out, whether that's in the media or through our vote, that silence will continue.
What is the status in the state of Indiana? We're showing right now that there is a ban in your state. It's not surprising. It's a conservative state. It has a Republican legislature and governor. What is the status of abortion care and health care for women and girls in the state of Indiana where you practice?
We have a very strict abortion ban with very few exceptions. The vast majority of people can't receive care in the state in which they live at home. They're forced to travel. And so are physicians. We travel primarily to Illinois to provide care for the thousands of patients who have to leave their home now every single year. And again, that's really just the people who are able to get out, to get the money together, the travel, et cetera, to be able to reach that care. And so we're seeing, a huge increase in high-risk pregnancies and the aftermath of not being able to seek safe legal abortion care the way that they should be able to.
Final question for you. I've seen reports about what this has done to the supply of OBGYNs in states, which is folks not wanting to practice, not wanting to go to medical school in some of these states, and that having huge ripple effects for all kinds of OBGYN care, whatever kind of care it is that women and girls might need. I'm curious if you've seen that in Indiana.
Oh, absolutely. We're trying our best to train our medical students and our residents to be able to provide this emergency care. But every single day we see the consequences of patients who aren't able to receive that care, whether their physicians haven't been trained enough or whether they have no physicians. We have a huge maternity deserts in Indiana. We're seeing increase in, very complicated cases, as well as death due to lack of access to OBGYN care. And that's true not just for Indiana, but for many states around the country.